Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I have teamed up with Sephora Collection to show you their bold items, and what better way to do that than to create a bold liner. So I thought that for this video, I would show you guys all of my tips and tricks when I am creating my winged eyeliner, which is very difficult for, you know, most of us women out there. It's a really hard thing to accomplish. I struggle with liquid eyeliner, but the Sephora Collection liquid eyeliner is actually really amazing. It's their colorful Wink It felt liner. It's waterproof, it has an amazing, very thin tip, and I thought I would show you guys how to use this along with some of their shadows. And then you guys know that I am absolutely in love with the Sephora cream lip stains. This one is the shade number 03, this bad boy right here. You guys know my love for Sephora number 13, so I thought that I would show this one. It's a really nice kind of bright pink. I'm actually really loving this color a lot lately. Let's get into all of my tips and tricks and how to do a bold winged liner. So I'm going to start with the eyeshadow. I feel like when you do a winged liner, you really need to use eyeshadow to kind of map out the area, add a little bit of definition and shadowing on the eyelids, and you can do that really simply with just a couple of eyeshadows. The Sephora Collection has the colorful eyeshadows. I have a couple here that I'm going to show you. This one is the shade Cashmere Coat, and they're really beautiful. They're really pigmented. I'm just going to show you guys here. Super pigmented, really easy to blend. And they also have Z palettes at Sephora that you can plop these into, which is really nice. They have amazing eyeshadows, and it also has 0.07 ounces in each of these pans, which is a lot more than a lot of eyeshadows on the market, which typically run around 0.05 if you guys are wanting to check them out. But we're going to start with this one. As I said, this is the shade Cashmere Coat. I'm just going to take a really thick fluffy blending brush, and this is just a lighter matte shadow that we're going to apply into the crease to just define that area a little bit more. And when I do a winged eyeliner, I also like to bring it out a little bit farther in kind of a V shape so that I can almost map out where I want to place the liner later. So for me, I like to blend it up, really nice light coat in the crease, and just kind of take it out as far as I want the liner to go, which is typically the end corner of the eye. I usually start here and then I'll bring it out. So I like to bring this shadow out to where I think I'm going to place the liner. So then taking a smaller, more precision brush, we're going to take that same eyeshadow and take it all along the lower lash line, kind of connecting it to where we place the shadow on the upper crease. I like to do this just because I feel like an eye is only complete once you have done the lower lash line as well. It gives it a really beautiful smoky look, and once you connect it to that area where you're going to put the liner, it just has a really nice effect on the lower lash line. I absolutely love this Cashmere Coat shade. Such a beautiful eyeshadow. So then I'm going to take a deeper shadow just to further deepen up that outer corner, and this will give the liner a more smoky look when you add a little bit of depth there. So this shade is in Roasted Chestnuts. It's a beautiful warm brown, but it's still kind of on the cooler side. I really love this, and I'm just going to take this with a more precise blending brush and put this right into the outer corner of the crease. I'm kind of packing all of the product there, and then I lightly blend into the crease, like I'm pushing almost into the crease. I'm not going above it, and then lightly blending out the excess. And then I'm also just taking that along the outer edge of the lid, but kind of keeping with that V-shaped theme to go along with the liner once we apply it. And then as the product kind of exits the brush, I just like to blend it out as I go. So it'll just get more smoky the more that you fluff it around. And as you can see, we're creating that really nice V shape on the outer edge of the eye, and that's just making it easier to map out where you place the liner later. Then I'm going to take that shadow on the same smaller blending brush, and I'm just going to apply this darker shade on the outer edge of the lower lash line, again connecting it with where we place the shadow on the upper portion of the eye, and just adding a little bit more depth in the depths. So once you finish with the matte shadows, we're going to go in and use one of their glitter eyeshadows. This is called What Happens in Vegas, and this is a really nice champagne-y toned shimmery shadow. Really beautiful, really pigmented. And what I like to do is take a little fluffy domed brush and really pack this shadow onto the brush. And I like to put this just right in the center of the lid where we didn't apply any of the darker shadow. This will help to brighten up the eye. And I think that when you're doing a dark liquid liner, it's really nice to have some kind of shimmery shadow to help bring light to it. So I just like to place this in there. And the shadow is nice because it's glittery without being overwhelming. You can make this really bold if you wanted to wet your brush and apply it. Whatever floats your boat, do what you want. I'm also going to take this into the inner corner of the eye and add a bit of glitter and shimmer there. And then once the shadow is done, we're gonna go into the liquid liner, which is the most difficult part. The most stressful part. And as I said before, I am using the Sephora Colorful Wink It Felt Liner. As you guys can see, it has a really nice thin tip on the end. It's very pigmented product, so it applies beautifully. Sorry, I'm just dropping everything off my lap here. And we're just gonna hold our breath, count to 10, and go ahead and do the liner. Everyone does liner differently. I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. It might not be perfect. There's definitely always room for improvement, but I'm gonna try it anyway. I always like to start at the corner of my eye, and then I pull the product out. That's the easiest way for me to create my starting line for a liner. So all I do is kind of, like when you open your eye like this, when you stare into someone's soul, you can kind of see where your crease goes. Like for me, I have quite deep set eyes, not overly deep set, but more deep set than others. So what I like to do is make sure that I'm dragging my liner outside of that kind of deep area, if this is making any sense. My words aren't always the best. So what I like to do is start at the outer edge, and then I drag the liner outward, and I try to make it as thin as possible, but it doesn't always happen because I'm not the best at eyeliner, as I've said before, but I like to make my starting line there. And then depending on how thick you want your liner, you can do whatever you want. I'm gonna probably attempt to do some kind of a medium level liner. But what I like to do is start about halfway along where you created your line, and then I like to drag it back to the lash line. And I go about halfway too, just so I don't mess anything up, and then I just fill it in. And then I like to lay the liquid liner horizontally and just press it along the lash line. I don't often like to take my liner all the way to the inner tear duct of my eye. I kind of like to taper it off to about there. That's usually a good place to end it. This is actually quite a thick liner. I wasn't planning on making it this thick and bold, but YOLO, what's done is done. Then what I like to do is take a little bit of concealer on a detailer brush, and I like to just fix up the edge of the wing. So I will press it along and kind of like flick it away so that it's making a straight edge on the liner. You can do this with makeup remover, you can do it with spit, whatever you want. I like concealer because I'm not messing up any of the other makeup when you're applying concealer. You're not wiping any of your foundation away, so it stays nice. And I just do this until I am happy with how flickety-flicky it is. And then once you're finished with this side, you can go ahead and do your best to try and do the same thing on the other side. May the force be with us all. And then once you're finished fiddling with your liner and trying to make them even for 5 years, you can apply your mascara, and that is everything for this look. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial and all of my little tips and tricks for doing a bold liner using a liquid liner. You guys can check out all of the Sephora collection products on their site. I will link that down below, along with their Instagram. You can go follow them. They have made a separate account from their normal Sephora account, so you can go check out all of the new and wonderful things with Sephora collection. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!